Hello and welcome to Monday Motivation. This is Corry Mendoza, and we have a very special guest today. I am so excited to have Kristina Elyse Foerster on our show today. I've known Kristina. How long have I known you? It's like 8 years?
Oh, yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she
More.
was the brains behind my business. She she supported me, and but I always knew from day one, that first time we met and had coffee at Coffee Republic in Folsom, I just remember you with, you're fresh out of college. No, you hadn't even graduated college yet.
No, I think I was still going.
Yeah, you were still going. And I think I asked you, what is your dream? And you told me about your huge, crazy dream. And now you're living it. And I had no doubt that you would be living it. So enough about that. Let me introduce you to our guest today. So Kristina has been in the event planning industry since graduating from college in 2014. After working in the corporate world for a little over 8 years, she realized her passion was wedding coordination. And I think I'd have to argue, you knew it before, but you had to start somewhere. That's my opinion. So she loves planning beautiful events on a smaller scale and a larger scale. And I can attest, because she did mine and Rusty's wedding, and it was absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. You can check it out on her Instagram. So in 2016, she took the leap and started her business, Events by Kristina Elyse. Welcome to the show. And I couldn't think of a better topic than choice, because you made the choice to take the leap and launch your business. And it's something that a lot of people would love to do and are terrified to do, and you did it. So you're an inspiration. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on here. I don't ever think of myself as a guest for these kinds of things. So it's cool.
Absolutely. So, I know Linda, she sent you a few topics to choose from, and you picked to this week's topic, choice, which is week 9 in Monday Motivations, 52 weeks to a more purposeful you. So why did you pick this topic?
I think it was just the topic that, I related to the most. The other ones are great. I just, this one resonates more with me. And in the past, 5 years that I've had the business, 5 years. Because I did make the choice to start this with the encouragement from, my husband, I think more than anybody else. And then I have great friends like you and, just a really good support system that just made me feel like I could do it. And even if I failed, that's okay too, because failure is the scariest thing. But if we don't try, then, that's the biggest regret. And so my husband encouraged me, and I made the choice, and I became what I needed. And it was the best choice I ever made.
I love that. You said, I made the choice and I became what I needed. So it's like you made the choice, but then the becoming, who you've been becoming, has been almost secondary to taking that risk and making that choice.
Yes. Yeah. The fear that you have before making a big decision is something that can paralyze you from doing anything that's worthwhile. And so getting over that took probably more than 6 months, a little more than 6 months, not a full year, from the birth of the thought of it to the actual start. So when I actually started it, getting over that hump, you realize how, it's not as scary as you thought. So making these choices, and every day is a choice. And so I just think that this topic, everyone can relate to it.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So on this topic from the reading, what did you get from the reading? What did you think?
I really love how you're always so positive. So I just really love how positive you are, and just saying how it's never too late, right? Because not everyone, I shouldn't say that, but there's a lot of people out there that'll say, oh, I wanted to do this, but it's too late. I can't, I'm too old, or, I've been doing this for so long, I can't do that now, and that's just so not true. You see so many people making decisions later in life, or, in the middle of life, and just completely going down a different road, and how successful it is. That again, it just goes back to fear. So I really liked how positive you were in encouraging people that it's never too late to shift your course. That was probably what I took away most from it.
I'm gonna, I should have had this ahead of time, but I'm gonna grab something that I read this morning on Instagram. Oh dear. Never mind. It's not here. I'll try to say it from memory, but I journaled about it. And so it basically said, so if you don't like something, okay, there's the awareness, like, I don't like this in my life. And then the I don't like this might grow into I don't want this.
Yeah.
And then, so then after the I don't like this, I don't want this, then it's something has to be done. And it's change.
And that's the scariest part.
That's the scariest part. Yep. So, and all change starts with a choice, like a baby choice, like one. Oh, I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah.
But it did. Hey, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Tell us this amazing thing that's happening in your life right now. And
that's probably the bigger choice. Honestly, that was the bigger choice than my business. But I'm 5 weeks pregnant, and so we're halfway there. But the choice to become a parent, alongside my husband, was the biggest decision we've ever had to make, and we weren't sure that we wanted to even do it. It was a mental mountain. It was just crazy. I don't know what else to say about it, and my husband and I we're Christian. And so we would pray about it. We talk about it together. And just over time, I think, God softened our hearts toward the idea. And one day my husband he said that God I forget exactly, I don't want to misquote him, but he just said that, God took away that fear from him, and that feeling of needing to control everything. And then I was like, oh, cause I was like, what? That's he's never ever said anything like that. And then, a few months later, it's done. We're pregnant. So it was just such a blessing. But that was a huge choice to make.
Well, I like this. Yeah, I like this example because I was giving the example of I don't like this, I don't want this. Well, your example is now I want something I don't have. Like,
yeah. It was, and it became that. I love how it happened, because it became that together as a couple. It wasn't just, I want this over here, and then I, having to convince someone, or vice versa. It was both of us sort of together mutually came to that decision, and we, lots of thought went into it, because it was a hard choice to make, and any change is really hard. The biggest reason it was hard to make that choice is because David and I really love our relationship. And this is just uncharted territory. You never know. You don't know how it's going to affect your relationship, and that's scary. And then now it's no longer just us. So we love our life together, and our dogs, and our routine, and our alone time, and everything. And so knowing that that's going to change, I even, every day is different. Sometimes, of course, I'm more hormonal right now. So every day is different. And, we just look at each other and say, wow, these are our last days, just us. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you're like on this precipice of, you're in the transition of change while you're pregnant, almost like being engaged before marriage, It's kind of similar. So you're on this precipice of a really big change and a really big commitment. It's exciting and scary.
Yeah. Well, I love how you guys embraced, there's a choice here, it's scary, and you both were like, I want this.
Mhm.
And then here it is.
Yeah.
And it is never too late.
Yeah. Nope. Never too late.
Yeah. Something else that, because I wrote this, I think in 2010 or 11, and now here it is 2021. So this is 10 years later. And so a lot of the things that I read, it's like my mindset is even different now. And I reread this again, preparing for our time together. And I'm like, I really needed this at 42, almost 43. Like, it is never too late. And also the part about, we can't always control the hand that's dealt us, but we can control what we're doing with that hand. And I think there's a lot of people, listening, that, maybe they can't start a family, or maybe they just don't have certain cards, but there's still choices of what can we do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I feel, because of that, it's such a privilege with anything that you choose to do. Sometimes women in this position, it's not a choice. And so it can get a bit complicated, right? But for us it was, and same with my business, I just view it as a privilege, because it's everyone's story is so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like viewing everything as a privilege. Like, even some of the hardest things. I have a friend right now, she's been going through almost a year. So she was falsely accused of something. And so once you're accused of something in a civil court, you have to walk it out. So even if you're innocent, you still have to hire an attorney. You still have to go to all the hearings, and it's about to come to an end, and be written off as ridiculous. But we were talking yesterday, and I was telling her, I go, who else has this experience? Like, you have an experience that like, so many people, it's a choice of how we look at it. I guess that's what I'm saying. Of, everything, every card that's handed to us, whether it's our fault or not, our choice or not, we can still choose how we're going to look at it. Are we going to look at it with, there has to be a silver lining. Like, there has to be something positive about it. So, so I love what you got out of the book. What advice would you give yourself or other people when it comes to this topic of choice?
To try everything. David and I started saying that last year, before we just made an investment in a property in Tennessee. And when we were talking about that choice to invest, we're looking at each other and we're like, do we want to do this? And we said, yeah, babe, let's just try everything. Why not? Because you get one life. Let's just try it all. Let's do everything that we can and have fun. And again, just like when I started my business, I went into it very scared, terrified, leaving, the steady income, the consistent schedule, the stability. And now looking back, I'm like, that wasn't stability. It's just funny to it's funny to think about the thoughts that I was having before. But anyway, just to embrace the fear of making that choice, because that's what I had to do. And I can only speak to my experience. I had to just say, yep, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. And we'll see what happens. And I might fail and it might not be good. And that's okay, because I'll just do something else and try something else tomorrow. It's okay. So, yeah.
Love that. Try everything. Yeah.
Yep.
And what I would add to it is, or my thing that I would share in terms of choices, is to find choice in every situation. So even the situations where we feel like our hands are tied and maybe we are in fact powerless, finding, well, what choice do I still have? And I absolutely love Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He said, and I'm going to misquote him, but it's along the lines of, a lot of things can be stripped from us. A lot of things can be taken from us. But the one thing that cannot be taken is our power to choose our own thoughts. So, just choosing, just watching those thoughts and how do I choose to look at this, the great situations, the challenging situations, but how do I choose to look at them? So but in closing, tell us a little bit about your business and who are the people that you serve?
Yeah. And I mainly do weddings. So we are a full, planning and design company, mainly doing weddings, honestly, because that's what's the most in demand. But I'll do any event, corporate, personal, anniversary parties, whatever
I've
it may
seen you
be.
do baby showers.
Yeah, baby showers.
40th birthday parties, 50th birthday parties. Yeah.
Yeah. And typically people will choose us for those types of things when it's really big, right? When there's a lot of people coming and it gets a little bit complicated. But for the most part, it's weddings. And I love it. I love it. I wouldn't choose anything else. I love working for myself, but I also love working with the team that we've built. All the girls are great. I don't have any men on the team, but I'd be open to it. But right now it's just
David,
girls.
he did help at our wedding. I loved it. I still have the
He
picture.
did.
Our photographer got him. He was bringing me my coat.
Yeah. And he still travels with me sometimes. He travels with me and he'll help and he'll be my assistant for the day. He still does that. So I always tell my couples, you might see my husband, you never know. So it happens. But yeah, we do mostly full service coordination and design, where we help them from start to finish, and we're there for the budget management portion, booking with vendors, and then also coming up with a concept of design, which is the fun part, and then of course the coordination, which is encompassing of all of the 4 phases that we go through. But we also cater to the couples that might be looking for more of a budget-friendly package, and we're there for them at the tail end. We call it the home stretch. So
I like that.
Yeah. Actually, the home stretch came from a client of mine a long time ago, and she was like, "Oh, so kind of like the home stretch," and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I really like that," and I was like, "I'm going to use that." So yeah, that's what we do, and that's all I do. And we love it.
So people can find you on Instagram at I forgot the handle.
Yeah, events by Kristina Elyse, and Kristina's with a K.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Events by Kristina Elyse. Yeah. And I love your Instagram page. It's just so inspirational. I think it's great even for people that are already married, because it's just so inspiring. You see all the engagement sets and pre-wedding and weddings. So thank you so much for talking with us on choice. And everybody follow Kristina on Instagram. You're going to love her. And if you have anybody who is getting married, definitely tell them to meet with her. So best decision I ever made for our wedding. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.